Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of the transfer Bonanza here on Reesy FC. This is our FM21 experiment. Hope you're all well, and yeah, if you missed the last episode, go back and watch it. It will explain the rules. However, if you're joining here in the second episode, not to worry, I'm sure you will latch on because I'll be explaining things as I go along, what happened since the last episode and things like that, so you can catch up. But if you would like to catch up properly and follow the rules, go and check out the first couple of minutes of the last video, and then you will be completely in the loop of what's happening in this little mini series we've got going on here. So as I explained in the last episode, we have simmed all the way to January. We're on the 1st of January now. Let's have a look at how the team have been getting on. So let's come to the competitions page then. So as you can see from this screen, we are doing very well in the Premier League. We're second in the league, 4 points behind leaders Chelsea as it stands. We'll go through that in more depth shortly. UEFA Champions League, we are into the last 16 as it stands. We have a tough tie against Real Madrid. We'll go through the Champions League shortly as well. Of course, we enter the third round of the FA Cup, so nothing to report there. We're away at Sunderland, so a tricky little tie there against League One Sunderland, but hopefully we should pull through that one. And we was knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup by Manchester City. Let's show you exactly what the club. Let's remind you of what the club vision was then at the start of this season. So avoid them disappointed things there. We've done nothing with transfers, so let's have a look at our plan for this current season. So the plan is to reach the Champions League quarter-final. That is required. We're on course for that, but we do have a very, very tricky tie against Real Madrid. Qualify for the UEFA Champions League is the goal for the board this season, so it's just finishing in top four. We're very much on course for that. We're currently second in the Premier League. I do want to win it, but if obviously the aim of the save is to hit all the targets of the board just by doing just by doing the January transfer window and simulating the game. So we'll see. Currently on target, which is good indeed. And of course we need to reach the semi-final of the FA Cup. EFL Cup is not important, so it doesn't really matter with the going out to Manchester City, although I'm pretty sure they won't be too happy losing to a local rival. But let's have a look then. Premier League. Let's go into more detail then. So we've won 13 out of 16 games. I'm going to stop hovering so it doesn't come up with little tooltips like that. 13 wins out of 16 games. Fantastic achievement. 3 defeats. Not bad at all. And the best goal difference in the division with 32. 4 points behind Chelsea. We're currently 11 points clear of Leicester City, who are 5th. Apologies if you hear bells. My cat has decided he's going to wander in and have a good scratch and stuff like that. So apologies if you do hear bells in the background going on there. So as I was saying, 11 points clear of Leicester City, who are currently 5th in the Premier League. There's a big gap from 4th to 5th there. The top four are certainly running away with things this season. We're all in the title race as well. So you'd like to think we won't fall off that much this season and finish outside the top four. Of course, I would love to win it, the Premier League, but anywhere in the top four will be sufficient enough for this save, I guess. If you have a look at the average ratings, look, Bruno Fernandes and Alex Telles are having fantastic seasons with us. 7.62 rating for Fernandes, 7.49 for Alex Telles. So it's nice to have two players in the top three. And Bruno Fernandes is up there on assists with 10, leading the way by 3 ahead of Mo Salah, who is second, and 4 ahead of Rodriguez, who is third. So doing very well indeed. Another Manchester United player there is David De Gea. He is first on clean sheets, joint with Mendy on 9 and 1 ahead of Alisson. So they are doing very, very well as things stand. Let's head across to the schedule then and show you exactly what has been going on in our during the season. We'll come down to the first game of the season, which was at home to Leeds. We beat them 4-1. Martial getting 4 goals. What a lovely start for him. Of course, I opted to put Martial in my starting 11 ahead of Cavani, and he played really, really well at the start of the season. Look at that, 4 goals in the first game, and then he scored again against Aston Villa in the next game. Who scored there? Martial, Greenwood and Marcus Rashford getting on the score sheet as well. Cavani's obviously got into the team as well. He scored 2 goals against Leeds in the AFL Cup. He kept his place by the looks of it, and in the game against Liverpool, and he got the winner there. So I think that is the turning point, because Cavani is the top scorer at the club. So that's probably the turning point where they decided, you know what, this Cavani lad is better than Martial. Even though Martial scored 5 goals in the first 2 games, we're going to play Edison Cavani instead. But this was a win streak that went on and on and on right until the 28th of November, where Manchester United lost to Wolves. And I had a little quick peek at this game just before recording. We went 1-0 up in the 18th minute. 91st and the 93rd minute is when we conceded to Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore. So that is disappointing to lose that game from a winning position in the 91st and the 90th. Well, in injury time practically, but we bounced back well. We won against Seville in the Champions League, smashed Sheffield United 5-0. Lokomotiv Moscow we swept aside 4-3 as well in the Champions League, and a nice 5-0 smashing of West Brom. Things were looking up until we played Manchester City at home, and Paul Pogba scored after 5 minutes. But again, a late goal denied us. Pogba's goal was an equaliser. Rodri scored in the 89th minute, and we couldn't hold on for a point at home to Man City. Very, very disappointing. And then just a week later, we lost to them in a penalty shootout, away this time at the Etihad Stadium in the EFL Cup quarter-finals. And then we beat Arsenal 3-0, and most recently lost 2-1 to Leicester City in the Premier League. Again, 1-0 up. And then Jamie Vardy scores in the final in the 74th minute and in injury time again. So there's a little theme here. We're conceding late goals. But it's not in my hands. It's in Mike Phelan's hands to deal with the training, deal with the team selection and managing the squad. It's just, I'm kind of, in a way, playing a director of football role, I guess. But I am technically the manager. This is Football Manager. And then tomorrow, I think it is. Yep, so we're on the first. Tomorrow we face Chelsea in the top of the league clash. And if we want to win the Premier League, you feel like we have to take points off Chelsea at home. So we've gone through the Premier League. Let's look at the Champions League, and let's have a look at all the groups to show you how we got on, because we've got a mighty tie against Real Madrid. Well, we couldn't have done much more. We finished top of the group with 6 wins out of 6 over Sevilla, Olympiacos and Lokomotiv Moscow. You would absolutely expect Manchester United to storm that group. The two strongest sides have gone through clearly there, Manchester United and Sevilla, and I think in the correct order as well in terms of size of club. So we finished first. You'd hope you'd have played a Shakhtar Donetsk or I don't know, Ajax are trickier, Besiktas, Lazio, but no, we picked out Real Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League. But the good thing is, where we finished top, we played a second leg at home, which is fantastic. But there's some big clubs in there. Chelsea finished second, Real Madrid finished second, Liverpool finished second, Ajax as well, a decent young side on this game, as we know. So I think if we get past Real Madrid, got a decent chance of the Champions League as well. So that is that. The competitions, it's been very good. I think Premier League and Champions League, very good performances indeed. Let's take a deeper look at the squad now, and let's order this maybe by goals. First off, so 16 goals in 17 games for Edison Cavani, playing very well. Martial doing well, 12 in 17 for him. He has picked up an injury, but it's only a minor injury. He's back in 4 days' time, so Cavani should be fit for the Chelsea game and raring to go. So hopefully we won't miss Martial too much. Bruno Fernandes has been fantastic. He's played the most games this season for us, 24 games, 12 goals and 18 assists in all competitions. Mason Greenwood doing very well, developing into a fine young player. He already is a fine young player, but if he keeps improving, he'll be one of the top players in world football. And in 19 games he's got 7 goals and 3 assists. His last 5 games he's averaging a 7.1 rating, which is fantastic. Rashford's up there as well in terms of goals. He's only on 6 though out of 20. I'd expect a little bit more from Rashford. His last 5 games doesn't look too great, so it might be an area we look at improving perhaps in the wide areas. Pogba, well, there's always something with Paul Pogba, isn't there? We'll go into that shortly, but he has got 22 appearances, 5 goals and 1 assist to his name. I'd ideally like his numbers to be a little bit higher than that. Harry Maguire's got 5 goals as well, so he's obviously scoring quite a few from set pieces. Likewise, Bailly's on the score sheet as well, twice, and so on. Jesse Lingard's got 2 goals as well. He must be the most subbed player in the Premier League, because he's 14 substitute appearances. Amazing. However, Scott McTominay's got the exact same record as him, so that's interesting as well. So what we have done then, I have gone through this squad. I mean, it's going to be tough to do completely do a whole transfer bonanza in January, isn't it? So finance-wise, let's have a look. We've got £44 million in the bank. We had 51, I believe, as the transfer budget. Well, 52. It wasn't far off. So we have lost some money from the budget over the course of the season. We've got about 300,000 in terms of wage budget. So this tells me we can probably go and sign a decent player on a decent wage, on a high wage, but we are going to have to sell some players. So here's the unwanted list, and pretty much everyone is transfer listed. So no surprise to you, Phil Jones is on that list. Nemanja Matic as well, Juan Mata, Marcus Rojo. These guys hardly play for the club, so it makes sense to get them out. And if you look at their values there, you're looking at, this is a complete estimation, you're looking at like about 40 million, around 40 million just for them 4 players alone. So if we can get around 40 million for them 4, that would be a good sum of money. It will take our transfer budget up to £84 million, which will get us possibly get us a world-class player. Jesse Lingard's in there, £8.5 million. We set an asking price of £8.5 million for him as well. Sergio Romeo set an asking price of £2 million. He's worth 2.6. He's old, but if we can get rid of him, that would be fantastic. He's not going to feature. He's not going to get ahead of De Gea. Of course, he's not going to get on the bench as well, because Henderson is their young English goalkeeper. We're not going to be dropping him from the bench. Fred is on here as well. Now, Fred and Pogba, this is where... I said about Pogba, there's always a bit of a saga with him. He's not very happy that we've transfer listed him, apparently, but Fred's on there. He's not happy either. We've set an asking price of £25 million for him, and Paul Pogba, we've set an asking price of £75 million. And I mean, if truth be told, if we get around his value, I'll be quite happy. I know he's a good player, Paul Pogba, but his numbers aren't great this season for me, and it's an area that we could probably... If we don't lose him, I won't be too worried, but it's a way of generating cash and perhaps getting a player that actually can be bothered to play for us. With that in mind, going over the squad and looking at areas we could improve and whatnot, this is a little shortlist that I've drawn up. And I mean, I've only gone for 5 players, 5 targets, because it all depends if we sell some players first. Of course, we can probably bring in a couple of these players without looking at selling players first, just because of situations with contracts. For instance, like Sergio Ramos, it's the end of his contract. He comes to the end of his contract at the end of this season, so we could hopefully pick him up on the cheap from Real Madrid, and he'll be a cracking signing. I know he's 34 years of age, but it's Sergio Ramos. He's quality, and maybe his experience can help us stop leaking goals at the back. So Ramos is certainly a big target. Of course, I don't care really about his into next season. We just want him to do a job for the final 6 months of the season. Cristiano Ronaldo in there, club legend. It would be amazing to get him back. However, he's on £1 million per week. So again, I don't think that is going to materialise. I would like to bring him back. Apparently, there's no interest. And does this mean agent feedback on players' interest? No interest. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, maybe we'll generate some interest if we do get the funds. Dani Olmo is someone who I am very interested in here at Leipzig. He is playing exceptionally well for Leipzig this season. Look at his attributes as well. Dribbling 16 to 18, first touch 16 to 18, great passing vision, flair. He's very quick indeed. He can play in the Bruno Fernandes role. He can play out wide as well. He's accomplished, so that could give Rashford a little kick up the backside this season. He's doing extremely well indeed. 7.24 average rating, 7 assists. Doesn't score many goals. He's only played 13 games this season rather. But he is someone I'm very interested in. He's in the top 3 of the assists in the Bundesliga. And Rafael Varane is another one. I mean, he is a lot younger than Sergio Ramos, but he could be a great centre-back to come in and help stop this slightly leaky defence. I say leaky defence, just end of games, some big games there that we just haven't got ourselves over the line. So certainly a central defender to go alongside Harry Maguire is what I'm looking for. Paulo Dybala, I don't know why I've gone from the bottom up in this list, but anyway, it's just what's happened here. Paulo Dybala is also another one that I am very interested in signing. He's a great player. His wage is just over £200,000, or just over £235,000 per week. His value is 59 million. I mean, I'm expecting we will pay a lot more for these players. I mean, just even look at this. Dani Olmo is going to be costing us around 70 million apparently, maximum. Sergio Ramos, though, looks like one that we will definitely look to do business with at 5.75 million as a maximum fee. So these are the 5 player shortlists. If you have watched any of my series, you know me. I tend to have some targets at the start of a window, and then by the end of the window, I have a complete different set of transfers in on the transfer history screen. So we'll see what happens. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the entire of January, and we will come back at the end of January at the close of the window, I suppose technically at the beginning of February, and yeah, we'll see what transfer business we have done. So I've played through the whole of January, and now the transfer window has finally closed, and I've got to say, signing players and trying to make any transfer business happen in January is a lot harder than I thought. Let's show you exactly what happened then in the window. If we go to the transfer history, then let's start with the players in, because that is what you are most interested in. First up, we signed Sergio Ramos. Only 3 players come in. Sergio Ramos was the first one, and he come in for £4.2 million. Future fee, it will rise up to £5.25 million. We needed to bring in Ramos, as I explained earlier on in the video. A lot of late goals we've conceded, throwing away some crucial points which would have allowed us probably to be above Chelsea in the league at the point we came back into the game. So Ramos can slot in nicely alongside Maguire. That'll be a phenomenal centre-back pairing, I think. And of course Tellez and Wan-Bissaka out wide as the wing-backs as well. I think Ramos will slot in nicely, playing just in front of his mate David De Gea. And I think that's a fantastic signing. Next up was Serge Gnabry. He wasn't on our list, on our short list. We spent £70 million on him. I decided throughout the month we kind of need a proper winger. We've got Greenwood, who's really a forward out wide. Of course, he's an inside forward role. Rashford's an inverted winger. Plays okay there. His numbers haven't been great this season. So Rashford, I felt we needed someone else out on the wing, and Serge Gnabry is fantastic. It was a toss-up basically between him and Angel Correa as well. Let's go and have a look at Correa as well. A very good player, Angel Correa. Of course, at Atletico Madrid, really fits the bill for what we wanted. However, I feel like Gnabry is a much better player. If we have a look here, is there a Gnabry? Let's do a side-by-side comparison. I mean, very similar players. For me, what edged it was, I mean, their speed is quite similar. It was Gnabry's vision and technical. Look at him. That is where his strengths are compared to Angel Correa. 2 very good players, but in all honesty, Gnabry for me, I'm a bit more of a fan of Gnabry, so let's hope he can really live up to his £70 million or potentially £100 million price tag. I think he's a great signing, and he will probably my idea of him is going to the inside forward role where Rashford currently is, and then chucking Rashford out onto the inverted winger role. If we had the money, I'd have got Correa as well, but we didn't have that kind of funds in this window. And last up, we was really in for Casemiro from Real Madrid. I know he's quite a slow player, but he's a fantastic box-to-box midfielder. He's solid. He's not actually that slow, actually, looking at his physical attributes now. Maybe I'm thinking of FIFA days where he's incredibly slow when I used to play that game. Good player, Casemiro. We were trying to sign him. A fee was agreed. That fee was around about 60 million mark, I think. Might have been a bit more considering his value is 60. It could have possibly been 70 there. But yeah, the fee was agreed. Contract was signed. The work permit was a nightmare to sign him. And it literally went to the final day, and it went on and on. I thought, right, we need a backup here. I definitely want to improve in the midfield and bring in a box-to-box midfielder to play instead of McTominay. And Casemiro was my first choice. However, it didn't go through, so second choice was Wilfred Ndidi, who we have signed for £75 million from Leicester City. Future fees going up to £105 million. He's a fantastic player. I know full well he's a fantastic player. I mean, up to £105 million, possibly not worth that. He's valued at £61 million. We've technically signed him for pretty much double that. But a fantastic player nonetheless. And I'll tell you what, this is what I mean. January, they say January prices are inflated. Certainly I found that they are inflated for Ndidi, Gnabry. Everyone I looked at, prices were absolutely inflated. So it'd be interesting to see how much we could have got some of these guys and possibly got 1 or 2 more in if this was a summer transfer window. But the business I've done, I think the players brought in are really the purpose of this, right? Transfer Bonanza makes out, right, we're going to go get an entire new 11. Not necessarily. The idea was to obviously bring some players in, but only to really strengthen the team to go and hit our targets this season. Outbounds at the club, a lot of players have left. I obviously had to spend all that money. What's that? Around about 150 million on a 40 odd million. Was it 40 something million pound budget? when we come back in this earlier on in this episode? Well, we had to ship some players out, and one of the players was Jesse Lingard. He went to AC Milan for £8.5 million. Lee Grant went to Houston Dynamo for £100,000. Mata went for £1 million to, is that a Dubai side? United Arab Emirates. So he's gone there for £1 million. A lot of loans gone out as well. Matic went out to the same club as Juan Mata for £7.5 million. Fred has gone on loan to Chelsea, so that got a bit off the wage bill, to be fair. Also, bizarrely, I don't know if you can see this actually. Is there a way to show it's out? So here we go. Look at this for a bizarre one. We tried to offload Paul Pogba to generate funds. Real Sociedad coming with a loan bid for him. And Manchester United, not me, Manchester United accepted it. Don't you worry, I rejected that. If we weren't selling him, we're certainly not loaning him out. We will use him. And that's kind of why I let Fred go for the wages, to be honest. But Pogba on loan to Real Sociedad? Absolute craziness that would have been there. Other players going out as well. Sergio Romero, we did try to sell him, but he is going out on a free transfer at the end of the season to Galatasaray. Marcus Rojo as well. He's going to the United. He's going to Qatar rather at the end of the season as well. Forsu Mensah is leaving the club and going to Wolfsburg. We're not really too bothered about these. I would have ideally liked to have sold them. I then did try to sell them. Say, why don't you take them now for £2 million? And it didn't work, unfortunately. So these boys are staying with us for the time being. Let's have a look at the team report then and show you the strength in depth that we have now. Apparently Gnabry is the best striker and the best winger at the club on both sides. So I think he is an absolute phenomenal signing. He will be playing, as I said, probably as an inside forward on the left-hand side. That's my aim. Of course, we've got Bruno Fernandes, who is one of the best players in the league, stats-wise, so far this season, as you've seen earlier on in the video, doing absolute bits in the number 10 role. Back here, I mean, Fernandes is the best midfielder all round, but we're going to have Paul Pogba and Wilfred Ndidi. We've got Van der Beek there. Fred's out on loan, but McTominay's in the mix as well. And then with Sergio Ramos coming into the back four, that is a pretty phenomenal back four as well. This is the tactics that I am going to set up for the holiday mode. In fact, McTominay's not going to be in there. That's going to be Wilfred Ndidi, of course. McTominay to the bench. I mean, of course, Phelan will play around with this, won't he? So that's one guy we couldn't get rid of. Phil Jones, very annoying. Was even offering him for £1 million and we still couldn't get rid of him. Completely ignore these injuries. Marcus Rashford should be there. I think there's been a game since I set this up, and obviously I didn't take it aside. So let's have a look. So this is the team we will be going with for the rest of the season. De Gea, Telles, Maguire, Ramos, Wan-Bissaka, and Ndidi, Pogba in midfield. Box-to-box midfielder, indeed. He's going to be superb. He's going to make a huge, huge difference. Trust me, I'm a Leicester fan. He is an unsung hero for the Foxes. Gnabry is an inside forward, and I chose to put him this side because he's right-footed, and one of his traits is to play shots, so I think it's definitely wise putting him out there. Rashford is on the other side. He is right-footed, but I'd rather a left-footer there. Greenwood's both-footed. He's two-footed, but we are going to put Rashford there. Fernandes in the number 10, right behind Edison Cavani, and of course Martial's around, Greenwood's around. Gnabry can go up there, Rashford can go up there, Greenwood, anyone can play up there. We've got a fantastic side. This is where we leave you though. I'll show you what's happened over January rather. It's been a very busy January. I haven't played any of these games. I've holidayed basically on the day of the game or the day before to the day after the game. So I didn't play any of the games. I didn't want to have influence tactically. I didn't want to have influence on any of the results at all. And to be honest, good job I didn't, because we picked up a hell of a lot of points. We beat Chelsea 3-0. We advanced in the FA Cup. As you can see, we've gone to the 5th round after beating Sunderland and Brentford. We beat Brighton 1-0. We drew away at Palace, which is disappointing. Paul Pogba getting the goal. Aston Villa, we beat them 2-1. Greenwood and Van der Beek on the score sheet. And we beat Leeds United 2-1 as well. Next up, and I think it's in today, in the game day, is Liverpool away. So that is huge. If we look at the competition page then, we are a point behind Chelsea. So the title race is really heating up. I think you can safely say we are in the top four. We have hit that vision. We need to get through Real Madrid to reach or to achieve the other club target. And also, we need to get past Norwich in the FA Cup. And I mean, in the FA Cup, I don't know who's kind of left. So Brighton, Bristol City, Norwich, City and Arsenal are still in there and play each other. Bournemouth and Derby are playing. Tottenham are in there, Liverpool are still in there, Everton and Leeds United are in there, and Burnley. It's going to be... We're looking at that, we've got a chance. If we can avoid Manchester City in the next round, and possibly Liverpool, maybe Spurs, we've got a very good chance of winning the FA Cup as well. For the first time since 2016. I thought they'd won it more recently than that. So, all that's left to do now, guys, is hit that holiday button. I'm first going to save the game at the point we're at, just in case anything goes wrong with the holiday. But what we will do then, when is the last game of the season? It is going to be here, so we'll go a week after. I mean, I'm guessing the Champions League will be the week after that, so we will probably come back 1st of June. That is when it should all be done and dusted. So if we go on holiday now until the 1st of June, set us to go on holiday, we should be in, hopefully, for a few trophies. Let's hope so. I think we can win the Premier League with them additions. I think we can win the Champions League with them additions, and certainly think we can win the FA Cup with them additions. And I think that's been a successful transfer window. I'd have liked one or two more, but Gnabry, Sergio Ramos and Wilfred Ndidi will certainly improve this squad, and I think we've done well to offload a couple of other players as well. But guys, if you did enjoy that, please leave a like on the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell to be notified when I upload a video. Let me know what you think down in the comments as well. How do you think that transfer window went? What would you have done differently if you was me? And of course we had the budget of just under £50 million and managed to spend about 150 of it. So I think we did quite well with it, and January is a very tough window, I discovered, to try and make big deals. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I look forward to reading them. I'll get back to all of you, and we'll see you next time here on Reesy FC. Transfer Bonanza episode 3, the final episode of this mini series, will be out next Saturday, so be sure to subscribe for that. Thank you, bye bye.